Imagine this scenario. You're the writer of a very popular online blog. One day, a friend named Emily steals your favorite pink pencil. You get super angry about this, so you go to your blog and write about Emily being a potato head. Unfortunately, you discover that Emily happens to be a part of a religion centered around potatoes. She accuses you of hate speech against her religion. So now you're left with two options. For one, you can tell her that's absolutely ridiculous and dismiss her claim. But if you're like me and you're making a video for a humanities project, you can think about what Emily is saying on a deeper level. So first things first, what is hate speech and why can Emily supposedly accuse you of it? According to legaldictionary.net, hate speech is talk that attacks an individual based on a trait that is protected by the law. We can also look at the First Amendment to the Constitution. The First Amendment clearly states that the government shall make no law abridging freedom of speech or of the press. Of course, there are some exceptions to what is protected under these amendments. These include obscenity, fighting words, defamation, child pornography, blackmail, and threats. Technically, what you said to Emily does not fall under any of those categories, and therefore it is not punishable by the law. So what does this all mean? Basically, you writing about Emily being a potato head may be considered hate speech since, in her eyes, you're insulting her religious group. But regardless, your actions towards Emily are not punishable by law. That's because any form of hate speech, not including specific exceptions to the First Amendment, are considered free speech and therefore protected by the Constitution. Despite this, the topic of hate speech continues to be debated. Let's take the case of Snyder versus Phelps as an example. In 2011, the Westboro Baptist Church was fined millions of dollars for picketing near the funeral of a dead soldier. The picket signs included words that criticized the acceptance of homosexuality in the military. On their website, members of the church also published hate speech meant to target the dead soldier. Although most can agree that the actions of the Westboro Baptist Church were unacceptable, the Supreme Court decided that it was unconstitutional for the churchgoers to pay any fines. And in reality, they're quite right about that. It's true that what the Westboro Baptist Church did was absolutely horrible, but it didn't actually inflict any physical or financial damage to the dead soldier's family. Because of this, such actions cannot be punished by the law. In 2016, Simon Tam and his band called the Slants applied for a copyright for their band name. The U.S. Patent Office denied their request, claiming that their band name was hateful towards those of Asian ethnicity and therefore violated a section of the 1946 Lanham Act referred to as a disparagement clause. While the U.S. Court of Appeals supported the decision of the U.S. Patent Office, the Supreme Court deemed the disparagement clause to be in violation of free speech under the First Amendment. Simon Tam won the case. The Mattel versus Tam case, when compared to the case regarding the Westboro Baptist Church, present two different sides of the debate regarding hate speech. On one side, the Westboro Baptist Church forms their protest understanding that it will offend a large majority of people, and in a way intending for it to happen. On the other side, Simon Tam wishes to express a message about his own race through the name of his band, with no intention of being offensive to others. Either way, both of their actions were protected under the First Amendment. So in cases like these, the important thing to take away is this: it's either all of us or none of us. Hundreds of years ago, the framers of the Constitution sat down and wrote a document meant to strictly protect the rights that many of them were denied under the rule of Britain. Perhaps in the process of securing these rights under the First Amendment, the framers did not anticipate the actions of modern-day hate organizations. Regardless, these rights were set in place for a reason. The law that protects a group you disagree with may be the one protecting a group you're a part of. In the future, there will undoubtedly be several organizations actively promoting hatred and violence. In many cases, we may not be able to fight this hatred with the law. But here's another solution. We can find the root of this hatred, because throwing people in jail and issuing fines are nothing but temporary solutions that do nothing to solve the bigger issue at hand. That's exactly what we need to understand as a nation. Although laws may change and time may pass, hatred is a thing sown in our roots, and to get rid of it, we need to dig a little bit deeper.